My great pleasure to invite to the stage the chairman of the board of the Kosciuszko Foundation, a dear friend, and the author of what is widely regarded as a definitive biography of General Tadeusz Kościuszko, Storozynski.
We stand for your freedom and ours. That was the message that Kosciuszko delivered to Ukrainian peasants, to the Russian Orthodox clergy. It was the same message he delivered in Catholic churches, in Protestant churches. He went into the synagogue in Krakow and he told the rabbi the same thing. The rabbi said, Kosciuszko supported happiness for all, including the Jews. The Jews called Kosciuszko a messenger from God. Polish revolutionaries turned around Kosciuszko's phrase to "for our freedom and yours." Today it's Poland's motto. Kosciuszko was a product of the Age of Enlightenment, which saw the rise of reason, empirical evidence, scientific method, liberty, religious tolerance, and progress. In Poland, the education system was modernized with a new emphasis on math, science, and civics. Kosciuszko studied the ancient Greeks and the Roman Empire, and he was the star cadet at Poland's Royal Night School, the military academy. After that, he went to Paris and he audited classes at France's military academy. In Parisian cafes, he soaked up political ideas that were brewing before the French Revolution. He read Montesquieu, Voltaire, Rousseau. But the economics of physiocracy is what most impressed them. The physiocrats said, all wealth comes from the land, and that land is made valuable by the peasants that farm it. They stood for the abolition of serfdom. Freedom, what a concept. Studying these ideals, Kosciuszko dedicated his life to making them a reality. He arrived in Philadelphia in 1776, a few weeks after the passing of the Declaration of Independence. And he showed up on Ben Franklin's doorstep. And he said, I'm here to take the officer's exam and a test for military engineering. Ben Franklin peered over his bifocals and he said, we're a country of farmers and merchants. We don't have an army, much less a test for military engineering. But we do have a guy that knows about geometry. Come back tomorrow and he'll give you a test. Well, Kosciuszko aced that test. And Ben Franklin said, good, you're in charge of building forts. So he built forts to protect the port around Philadelphia. He oversaw the building of West Point. It was his battle plans that won the Battle of Saratoga, the turning point of the revolution. After that, even France joined and said, maybe these guys can win. Kosciuszko said this fortress West Point would be a good place to put a military academy. Kosciuszko was friends with Thomas Jefferson, but he saw that the enslavement of Africans was even more brutal than serfdom in Europe. So after 8 years of serving as a colonel and a general in the Continental Army, his back pay exceeded $15,000, which was a fortune in its day. So he left that money with Thomas Jefferson and said, please use this money to buy me slaves and free them, and leave enough money to buy them land, cattle, and farming tools so that they can make their own living in the United States. In Europe, he wanted to end serfdom. After the American Constitution, Poland adopted the world's second democratic constitution on May 3rd, 1791. It expanded rights for the middle class and provided protections for the serfs. It expanded religious tolerance and established the principle that all power in civil society derives from the will of the people. Freedom, what a concept. To defend that constitution, the Poles made Kosciuszko the commander-in-chief of the nation. His army included regular soldiers, noblemen, peasants. The Jews even started the first wholly Jewish military unit since biblical times, a cavalry, to fight alongside Kosciuszko. But freedom was opposed by Tsarina Catherine the Great. She sent a large Russian army to stop the democratic ideals in Poland that Poland was trying to bring to Europe. Anyone who's lived in Eastern Europe or Central Asia over the past 5 centuries knows that they've lived in an era where they were oppressed by the Kremlin's imperialism. And that's still true today. Eventually, Kosciuszko was released from prison and given French citizenship. He corresponded with Jefferson for the rest of his life, and in the letters he told Jefferson about the importance of this military academy. Not just so the cadets would learn military strategy, but they would receive an education on morality and justice so they can protect America's form of government, where the power rests with the people for the common good. These principles have been tested over the years, and they are being tested again today. It's easier to control the illiterate than to dictate to the educated. Kosciuszko was one of his era's most noted liberals. The word liberal comes from Latin, liber, which means liberty, freedom. A government that is illiberal, well, that's the opposite. During the French Revolution, the French rallying cry was liberté, égalité, fraternité. Liberty, equality, brotherhood. In the French National Assembly, those who supported these ideals sat to the left. And those who supported the king sat to the right. These general concepts of left, right, liberal, conservative remain with us today. Where you stand depends on where you sit. If Kosciuszko were alive today, he would clearly stand on the side of liberty for all. Thank you.